every once in a while I like to answer Twitter questions from, I like to throw out a question on Twitter, what people are struggling with their golf swing to my Twitter followers. And I appreciate them following me, obviously, on Twitter, and I want to help out as many people as I possibly can with their golf games, because obviously we all love golf, and I love helping people with their games. So I like to answer about 5 or 6 Twitter questions at a time and help these guys. And the first 5 or 6 that I get, I'm going to answer for you guys. So the first 5 or 6 today, the first one comes from Rick, at Rick, R-I-C-K, 1V. He wants to know how to get his weight back properly and stay more balanced in the golf swing. Great question, Rick. And this is something that is maybe a little more advanced and something that I enjoy talking about. So I love my sticks, so I keep my sticks on the ground pretty much all the time, especially when I practice a lot, just to make sure that my targets are where they should be and they look good down the range. Let's talk about weight and balance and how you get your weight back. Okay, Rick, this all has to do with sequence, and proper sequencing in the golf swing is really important, because everything is created from the ground up in the golf swing. If you don't have good footwork, then you're not going to have a very good golf swing. So let's talk about footwork and proper sequencing of the feet, because there's 2 sequences in the golf swing. Let me make it complicated real quickly. There's a foot sequence, and then there's a body sequence. And if you don't get the foot sequence right, you can't get the body sequence right. So your foot sequence should look something like this, okay? So in getting your weight back properly to your right side, now you got to understand that you can keep your head still, which I believe all great ball strikers do, is keep their head fairly still. Henrik Stenson, we talk about all the time on the Golf Channel, he does a great job keeping his head still after he moves it off the ball and gets it behind his center line, okay? Rory McIlroy keeps his head nice and still. Louis Oosthuizen's beautiful at it and swings around his spine very well, okay, or his center really well, keeping his head still. So you can get your weight back to your right side and keep your head on top of the ball. But as I move back, the one thing you should be able to do is you should be able to do this at the top of your backswing. So I'm going to move the club back, and as I move, my hips are moving back, and I'm creating a straight line from the top of my backswing, let's say from my armpit to my heel. But all my weight, I feel, is right in here, inside from the midline of my foot to the inside. Nothing gets to the outside. And from there, I'm able to do this. So it's also in the heel. Instep, heel. Then from there, it transfers. Now all my weight, I can't lift my foot hardly, because all my weight's moving to get the club back down in position in the feet. And now it's onto the toe. Most of it's onto the toe, onto the inside part of the toe, and everything's transferring over into this foot. From there, boom. That's the foot sequence. If you get that right, the rest of the body sequence should follow pretty nicely. So that's how I want you to get the club back. It's here, and as I move it back, the weight moves to the instep of the foot. I should be able to do this at the top of the backswing, just like this. And then from there, it moves back down into the ball. My legs start to clear, move slightly laterally as they rotate, come up onto my right toe just slightly. Weights on the inside ball of my right foot. Everything's now pretty much almost transferred all the way over to my left foot. A little bit, we're talking 80-20 weight distribution at this point at impact, and then boom, all the way to a full finish. That's pretty much how to do that. Now balance is the key. If you're not using your feet right and you're not using your proper sequence of the feet right, then your balance is going to be bad. So balance wise, basically you want to start slow. I always talk about half swings to work into 3/4 swings, work into full swings. Let's start with a wedge. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. Take your 54 degree, 56 degree, whatever your wedge is, your regular sand wedge is, and take your normal stance. And what I want you to do is just basically take half swings in that same sequence, just a smaller version of it. Okay, so you're not going to finish full, but I want you to work on moving your feet in that sequence, feeling what it feels like to get that weight to that instep and load up that right hip and that right side. Just like that, okay? Load up that right side. Okay, and then you can work back from there. You can work back to you can work back to 3/4. All right, 3/4. Moving your weight back into the ball. Okay, that was a little fuller. And now full. Moving it down consistently. Let's move it over here. There we go. Okay. Constantly trying to move, almost feeling like it's almost good to do this, where you just constantly feel like you're keeping your feet in motion, moving the feet to the inside of that right foot, in step with the right foot, and then to the center of the left foot. But that's how you work on maintaining your balance. You start slow, hold your finish. 3/4, hold your finish. And then as long as you can post up on that left foot without falling forwards or backwards, you know you're in the right position. Give that a shot, Rick. I'm sure it'll work, man.